Religious Memeplex. Dawkins coined the term meme from the Greek word mimema, which means something imitated. It describes the way in which cultural traits and patterns evolve, spread and become the norm. As in the animal kingdom, only the fittest and strongest, or the most suited to flourish in their environment, will survive. A meme is anything that can be copied from one mind to another. A catchy tune is a meme. The recipe for your mum's casserole as it passed through the generations is a meme. Even the word meme is a meme, which has just made a copy of itself into your mind. A combination of memes is known as a memeplex, a self-ratifying complex more stable than single memes on their own. Do memes make people happier? Or more successful in life? Or have healthier children? No. Just because a memeplex is successful, it doesn't necessarily mean it serves in our best interests. Dawkins liked memes to genes. A black widow spider eats her mate after sex. Kamikaze bees inject a suicidal sting into predators of the communal hive. The female Nephila kamichi spider snaps off the male's penis inside her so as to plug in his semen and permanently ensure he never procreates with another female again. As you can see, a successful gene doesn't necessarily benefit the organism or its host. The genes making up a deadly virus may kill millions of people and cause untold misery, but when it comes to the numbers game, the virus is still an undoubted success. A memeplex can also use human lives in the service of its propagation, cold and indifferent to our existential plight. Religions are also a combination of beliefs passed from one person to another and come under the same umbrella as a memeplex. They were originally compiled in a tablet form or consolidated as holy scriptures, and now with the modern printing presses can be reproduced in their millions. The earliest religious memplexes had a live and let live attitude, and never encouraged their followers to convert others, but then a rival with an added incentive arrived. Spreading the memeplex allowed its followers to earn bonus spiritual merit. They were saving souls, and after a lifetime of sin, heaven had suddenly become a realizable goal. In other words, they had just won the divine lottery. So after 1,000 of years, which of these two religious variants would be likely to have more copies in the minds of people? Well, if we were going to deliberately design a combination of beliefs with the purpose of making ones that could dominate, then we would be hard-pressed to do better than the evangelical Abrahamic faiths, and the proof is in the figures. In just 2,000 years, Christianity and Islam have amassed 3.5 billion followers, over 50% of the world's population. That is faster than any other memeplexes in history. Yet it's not just about growth. A powerful memeplex must also suppress thought competition from other competing memeplexes. During the Dark Ages, Christian leaders successfully suppressed modernity and science to preserve the status quo. The Reformation of the Church and the Enlightenment which followed as a result catalyzed a period of rapid change and advancement in Western Europe and North America, and church attendances dropped dramatically ever since. Over the last few decades, Saudi Arabia has been spending a large portion of its petrodollars building mosques around the globe. Yet ironically, according to Sharia law, no non-Muslim religious structures are allowed to be built inside its own lands. It takes years of red tape for existing churches in other Arab nations such as Egypt to be even allowed to be repaired. This puts the houses of worship of any other competing memeplex in a state of permanent decline. I had a fairly typical moderate Islamic upbringing. From the age of 5 I was made to attend mosques for Friday prayer, and shortly after began to rote learn parts of the Quran. As a young boy, my parents would always encourage me to keep Muslim friends. I prayed 5 times a day and fasted regularly as part of the farz or obligation set upon every believer. It was during my teenage years when doubts began to materialize and I began to feel uncomfortable with certain aspects of Islam, such as its laws on intermarriage and apostasy. If a woman wants to marry a non-Muslim, then she has to convert him to Islam first. When it comes to apostasy, not only is it illegal in Islamic states to leave Islam, but that it is also punishable by death and is a fake carried out by the government's very own thought police. As an ex-Muslim myself, please do not take this as me signing my own death warrant. I was taught that if society was inhabited by correctly practicing Muslims, then we would soon discover celestial order and harmony throughout. The world belonged to Allah. It was our duty to return it to its rightful owner. But a successful Memeplex well drilled into the minds of fundamentalists takes such literalism to a whole new level. We find that this desire for utopia, along with the promise of eternal heaven, can somehow paradoxically justify the ultimate jihadic fantasy of attaining world peace through suicide bombings. Yet I never judge believers too harshly. Good Muslims all over the world have resisted the autocratic and restrictive version of this Memeplex, which in turn goes a long way to explain the stark knee-jerk reaction from the fundamentalists. Muslims are the first victims of Islam, wrote E. Renan. Many times I have observed in my travels in the Orient that fanaticism comes from a small number of dangerous men who maintain the others in the practice of religion by terror. Whatever fanaticism there is, it comes from a small group of influential men who control these weak, disillusioned minds. They frog-march them out of the mainstream with a more reactionary and almost hooliganized identity we see out on the protest marches today. Hopefully it will stop there before it lands in more troubled waters tomorrow.